Alright, so I'm just going to do a little bit of shopping and just, well, got to run a couple of very quick errands. Need to get a couple of supplies in. So anyway, I'm still working on part 2 of the body fat burning thing. I want to really nail a few things in, and I want to get it right, to be honest with you. I'm not quite happy talking about it until I have done. But what I am going to do tonight is I am going to talk about relationships and about pretty much about love, and really what I view it as. Now, I am going to start with the preface, is that there is probably the exceptions to the rule, but I am pretty much men going their own way, and for the simple reason, and I'm not going to turn around and say that I hate all women. However, just the prevalent attitude of a lot of women that I've seen, I'm not quite impressed with. But I will also turn around and say this is not a hate thing on women. I'm not too impressed with an awful lot of the male species either. And to be quite honest with you, I have even less regard for the minority groups that stir up trouble between the male and female genders. And I think an awful lot of growing up needs to be done between the male and between the genders, and actually turn around and say, what the hell is it got to do with anybody else? Get on with it and stop listening to crap. However, that being beside the point, my sort of feelings on that particular subject aside, I'm going to turn around and talk a little bit about love and about actually my views on it. So when we talk about love, I mean, to be honest with you, we're talking about, an awful lot of people are synonymous with, I hate the word rom-coms, the books that you can buy ranging from light romantic to quite heavily involved, shall we say, books that go a little more explicit. We have a lot of opinions, a lot of all sorts of different things. But what I am going to say is that I don't think really love has anything to do with physical attraction, or that is attraction. It's physical attraction. It's nothing to do with love. It's physical presence is more to do with attraction rather than love. So the first thing I'm going to say is love is defined as a feeling from one person to another. Alright, that's the first thing. It doesn't actually bring in a gender per se. It is a feeling of affection towards another person. That is essentially what love is. You have and it can range from a light general affection towards someone to a deep meaningful feeling for someone. A man can love another man as a brother, as a friend, and the greatest example of that is how they regard that other person, to the extent of how they will, without any particular want or desire of reward, they will go to help that person. Hence the saying, greater love hath no man than he that layeth down his life for his brother. And I'm not using man as in just men, it's the same with women. All who have that desire that they will serve that person, look out for that person, have the best interests at heart. That is love. Pure and simply. It is nothing to do with romantic intention. Because when you place a romantic intention, then you are bringing into attraction, a desire to spend time with that person, to live out your lives together, to work together, to become more as a unit. And that does eventually include sexual attraction, physical attraction, mental and spiritual, emotional attraction. But even then, when we talk about that, we need to remember this ideal that we accept that person as a whole. Now, if you have those feelings towards someone, then it does become somewhat, it needs to be reciprocated. And we all want to have those feelings reciprocated. We all do. It's a simple, natural thing. You want to have those, you have those feelings for someone, you want them to turn around and go, oh, I feel the same way about that person, and to reciprocate it, okay? Now here's the deal. It's to a certain extent, it's a selfish, driven thing as well. Because you want them, you want something from them as well, and you will go to a point where you will give that and you will do that. But if then that person does not reciprocate, this is where it gets selfish, this is where it starts getting twisted, because you turn around and you go, well, you start insulting, you start belittling, you start threatening, you know, whatever it is, in an effort to make them either out of fear or out of some sort of thing, oh, I'm going to lose him, I better show him something. And, you know, that takes it from love to an obsession. Okay? If you truly love someone, even if you have all those desires, all those feelings, even if they do not reciprocate that, you can still recognize you have those feelings, but want that person to be happy. You want that person to become what they need to be, and you will be there for them no matter what, because you want them to be the best they can be. The one thing that about love is, it is unconditional. Alright? And that needs to be remembered. If you really love someone, it has to be unconditional. It really has to be the case of, well, you know, I love that person, even if they don't respond the way I want, or if they don't sort of have that same thing, whether it's reciprocated or not. Unconditional love means that you love that person and you want the best for them. And I think the world should kind of remember that a little bit more, and to perhaps explore that a little bit more. So when you hear someone like me talk this way, okay, you can take it as a good sign that it is actually something that really, despite my aloofness to relationships, and yes, there are, and I will even say for me, even though I'm firmly men going their own way, and despite my opinions, I can turn around and say that I fully believe in that, then perhaps it's worth a listen to. So what I'm going to turn around to you and say is, if you have someone who you really do love and you really want to be with them and everything else like that, just show them the fact that it's there. Don't press it. Don't try and press whatever it is that you want on them. Let them reciprocate it. Don't expect it. Few lessons that I've learned in my life, and you know, yeah, I will say this: rejection, stuff like that, you know, it sucks. And let's just put it this way, I've been the subject of a few other things as well, and I have been the subject of a lot of things that has not been pleasant. Hence why I am my own way at this moment in time. So I'm going to leave that with you. Catch you all later, folks, and I will see you in the funny pages.